I'm speaking with Howie Knight. Now,
Right.
Howie, you've been around a long time, and on
You're talking about my age now?
and I know you, and a lot of people know you. But for the folks that don't know yet, what can you tell us?
Well, I've been on the budget committee and trustee of the trust funds, the two positions I'm running for, I don't know, 15, 16 years. I don't even know what the total is. My background is I was corporate controller for an insurance company, so I like numbers. That's what I do. In town, I also did taxes for ARP for 13 years, and people of that, president of the food pantry. So, but I enjoy being on the budget committee, and I think it's important to have some history on the committee. Now, we do with Jerry and Priscilla, but Jerry stepped down, but I've been on longer than she has. And it's important, I think, from a standpoint to look at the total picture. You can look at one line item, but how does that really impact the taxes? And, you got to look at it from a whole. Now, if I flip subjects and go to the trustee of the trust funds, that has been invaluable, I think, to the town of Wakefield. We have been able to minimize the major fluctuations in our tax rate by putting away money for a rainy day, or for this, let's say for a fire truck. I mean, if you were to buy a fire truck in 1 day, 1 year, you're looking at $500,000.
Yeah.
But we spread it over time, and we also make some money. Now, the state limits what we can invest it in, but basically bonds and stuff. So we don't make a whole heck of a lot, but better than losing. So, again, we've got about $1.5 million in our trust funds right now, and that helps stabilize our tax rate.
Yeah, well, Howard, you're running unopposed, so I'm just gonna say we're fortunate to have somebody with your background and your experience, looking out for the entire town, the taxpayers, and the functions of the government. What do you see as, the challenges we're facing here? Because, this seems to be a tough year. We got 3 selectmen's positions open.
Right.
We've got some challenges with the school budget.
Right.
And I don't know how you voted on those warrant articles, but, there has been some division.
Right. There's been some division in the budget committee, which is unusual to begin with. But if you look at the school budget especially, you'll see 5.5, which does not recommend. You'll see a number of warrant articles right out, nobody recommended from the budget committee. Biggest challenge I think the school's got is their benefit package. I mean, when you get a benefit package that is greater than 50% of the base salary, there's something wrong there. Now, because you were on the school board when I started complaining about that years ago. So that's going to be addressed. Now, having said that, I will give them some due because last year they totally misbudgeted. I mean, I'm talking $600,000 worth of misbudgeting.
Yeah.
So, I'll give them some breaks on that, but I hope the school board, and I think they will be more diligent in their budgeting process. I tried to give them a break this year because I knew that they messed up last year. But that's going to be a big challenge. I think the other challenge is going to be, like you said, with the town, it's too many unknowns. I mean, we've got, I don't even know how many people are running for selectmen, but it's quite a few.
13.
So, 13 of them. So that could be a challenge. So I just hope that the people that do get in will come to some of us who have been around for a while if they want some information, whether Denny Miller or me or whatever.
Yeah, well, and to get back to some of the school budget, which, you're on the budget committee. And I mean, when I look at my tax bill, that's the majority of my tax bill, is education, which I support. Yeah. But, this benefits that you're talking about, I mean, I was looking at the contract and I mean, I think in the contract, the taxpayer pays up to $27,000 for a family plan of these. I'll go on a limb and say Cadillac plan because
that's exactly what it is.
And how does the private sector deal with this? Because I don't see these types of benefit packages offered anymore.
You won't see it, not in the private sector. You'd be lucky if, you just look at the town package, that's much different.
Yeah.
Much, much different. It's more of a cost benefit type plan where they try to save some money. Now, there's no getting around health insurance is expensive anyway. But the Cadillac plan, and there was supposed to be this year, I believe it was originally set for an excise tax if you had one of these Cadillac plans, but that's been pushed off. But needless to say, I think it should go. I mean, we can't afford it.
Yeah, well, and I think it's not, and I think we probably agree that it's not a matter of people being deserving or not deserving of it.
No.
It's just the cost of
The cost.
these insurance programs has just skyrocketed way beyond,
Way beyond,
our ability to
pay
fund
for
them.
it, right.
Yeah.
Now, there's another issue too that both the town and the school face, and that's the state legislature or the state in general,
Yeah.
down forcing the retirement cost,
Yeah.
letting the towns pick up more of the cost, where they used to have the cost. You know,
They've been shifting the burden onto the local
Exactly.
taxpayer.
Right, and that's wrong. I mean,
And, education in general, I mean, we don't have a sales tax, we don't have a state income tax.
and I'm not advocating
And-
either
and-
of
no.
those, but
No, but I mean, the burden of education is a lot of it is
Is
placed
right.
on the property taxpayer.
Right.
In this state. What do you see the challenges going forward? I mean, one thing we haven't touched on is the water precinct, and our water system is antiquated and we got 7 miles of pipe that needs replacing.
I think.
How's that going?
Well, I'll find out. We got a budget meeting Tuesday night with the water precinct. I'm real pleased with the group that's in there now. Obviously, you know who they are.
Yes.
Pete and Paul and Dean. I think they're heading in the right direction. They've got an engineer. They can go for. They're getting some grant money.
Yeah.
They got a ways to go. It's not going to be done overnight, but I think they got the right focus, and they've got the race where I think they need to be to minimize the overall impact on the town if we were to take it over. I don't think we will. I have faith in those gentlemen that they'll get it straightened out.
Now, we've talked about some of the challenges, but tell us a little bit about the successes. I mean, I think that, we've got one of the lowest tax rates in the state.
Exactly.
So, we got that to be happy about.
Yeah. Well, you got to remember, 75% of our tax bill comes from the lake people,
Yeah.
and maybe 2/3 of those don't even live here
Right.
full time, because you and I know that we live.
So- Right.
But having said that, I think, again, a part of that, I'm going to go back to the trust funds, that's part of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because we don't take big hits.
Yeah.
And I think the prudent use of capital reserve funds, trust funds, can really help a town out greatly. And the other thing that this town should be pleased about and happy with is our surplus. They don't call it that anymore, but that's why I still call it. We're still well above what the state says we should have. We're well within the range, well over 10%. So that's good too. As you know, 2 years ago, we used that to finish the upstairs of the public safety building. This year, we're gonna use it to pave the parking lot of public safety, if the warrant article.
And didn't we buy one highway truck last year out of that?
Right.
So that was good, so that it didn't all go into the
Right.
increase in taxes.
Right.
And we got a horn blowing here.
I didn't do it.
We still
Something I
got 2
said.
minutes left.
Is there something they said?
Would you say that we have generally speaking, would you say that our budget committee is pretty conservative?
Very.
Yeah.
And that's the way it should be,
Yeah.
in my opinion. That's what the job is, and we're the watchdogs to the taxpayers.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean we say no,
Right.
because you gotta use your judgment, what's gonna help the town in general. Certainly, we need equipment, certainly fire trucks and ambulances, town trucks. Did we need both last year? No, but that's another story that, under the water right now, under the bridge, so to speak. So I think that from an equipment standpoint, facility standpoint, we're in a good place, I think. And financially, I think we're in an extremely strong place.
So it sounds like the budget committee tries to find the balance
And that's what it is.
between, the expense of the taxpayer. Now, can you give any, you live on the lake, I live on the lake. Can
Yeah.
you give any comfort
No.
to those of us on this
Well,
reevaluation?
No, I mean, no, my property went up 25%.
Yeah.
So,
No, no, too.
so
And that's market.
that's market driven, and you can argue with the numbers.
Yeah.
But if you look at what the sales have been, it's warranted,
Yeah.
and
It's based on property sales.
exactly, and.
But I mean, the budget committee didn't throw all these extra
we don't-
expenses into anything.
No, we don't have anything to do with that.
And it sounds like there are some concerns on the the school end of things,
school end
because
thing.
the votes reflect that.
Yeah, and it would be interesting for me to see what the outcome of the ballot is.
Yeah.
I think it's not going to be as clear cut as it usually is. You know, my 15 years on the budget committee, the budget committee recommends it, usually gets approved. If it doesn't recommend, it doesn't get approved. Well, there's more does not recommend this year than I've seen in
Yeah.
probably 10 years.
Yeah. And that's a demonstration of maybe some of the fiscal conservatism that's
Absolutely.
part of the board.
Right.
Well, Howard, this has been great.
Great.
I've learned a lot, and I thank you for all you do for the town.
Thank
I know
you.
you've done a lot, and you're involved in some other things as well, but, you know, good luck on the next 3 years. You'll be on the trustee of the trust funds, and
Yep.
because you're
Budget
running
committee.
unopposed.
Unopposed, yeah.
And I think we're really fortunate to have you
Thank
sticking
you.
around on me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Howard.
Yeah.